All right. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. This is my second time that I'm come to give a talk to the Hanken Business Lab about actually a very similar topic. So, as was mentioned here, we've been working before. I was actually part in the QWAS Business Accelerator Spring Batch 2020, 2021. So it's already been 4 years since that happened. So, yeah. I'm the founder of Vividize, so we make the fastest way in the world to learn Chinese vocabulary. Actually, I was a student in China. I wanted to go to Shanghai and complete an entire degree in business in Chinese, and to do that, I would have had to pass a very crazily hard proficiency test. I failed it because the vocabulary size was 2,500 Chinese words, and the way to learn these words was incredibly hard. And that failure led me then to actually look into, would there be an easier way to learn Chinese vocabulary? And that's why Vividize came to be. So the talk that Margaret wanted me to come to talk to you guys about is to how to build an MVP. So let's begin with the obvious. Do you guys know what an MVP is? Yes, nodding heads, great. So it's a minimum viable product, as everyone knows. So let's go quickly through what these stand for. So these are my descriptions. Bare minimum to solve the problem, so that's for the minimum. Then it's viable so that the customers can use it independently. They don't need to hold your hand to use it. And it's either a good or a service that you give to them, right? Now, how do I build an MVP? That's like the core question of this entire talk. So there are 3 points that I have. So first, you need to design an MVP demo that people would pay for. So it's not yet necessarily an MVP, but just a demonstration of what it is that you are going to give to them. The second is that you need to design a Mafia offer to sell the MVP demo. So a Mafia offer is a sales speech which is so great that the customer cannot refuse. So you're not actually threatening them, but you're just giving them such a good offer that they really want to have it. And then when you combine these two things and you're able to make money out of it, then that's the MVP that you're going to build. So basically demo plus a great offer equals money. And you want to test whether this promise of yours is able to make money, because the traction is everything that you want to do. If you're not able to make money out of that promise, don't build that MVP. But when you're able to do it, then that's the thing to go for. The worst thing that you could do is to build something with blood, sweat, and tears for many years and with a lot of money, which in the end nobody wants to buy. So that's the worst thing that could really happen. Okay.
Sorry, I was a bit distracted. Mafia offer, is that just a term for
Yeah. It's a term for a sales pitch. So if you know the movie The Godfather, so I'm making an offer you can't refuse. Like, yeah, exactly. So we're not threatening the customer, but just making a great offer. That's it. All right. So I wanted to go through like 2 examples of what and how this would look like. So this is a screenshot of Superhuman. It's an email service that does emailing in a different way. And how they build it, the founding team, was that they actually followed this exact formula. So first they built a demo, which was basically just a graphic design model showing how it would work. Then they would have customer one-on-one sessions showing how it would work, and then ask on the spot, do you want to buy this? Do you want to get on board? And then when the customers actually bought and the conversion rates were great, then they actually start building this and releasing it. So that's a very good way to do it because you save time and money and you learn a lot. Another way to do this is actually an example from DoorDash. So DoorDash is the Volt of the US. So I actually heard this story from the speech that they gave in Y Combinator in 2015. The Y Combinator is the most famous business accelerator program in the whole world. And they have this YouTube series called How to Start a Startup. And in one of the talks, the founders of DoorDash came and told how they got started. So basically, one of the founders, they had a friend who was running a cake shop. And the friend showed them a pile of orders that people wanted to have from that cake shop. But the problem was that they weren't able to deliver those cakes to the door. They didn't have a courier. So that was basically just money sitting at the table. And then the founding team, they started to wonder, which was, by the way, just a group of students from Stanford, that like, would people actually pay for if we would deliver the food to their door? So this was their first landing page that they built in 1 hour. Basically just follow these steps. So pick your food, call them, and then the food is delivered to you for $6. And then they launched it. And then within an hour, they got a phone call, and then somebody wanted to actually buy food from them. And that's how the whole thing then started. So just 1 hour landing page, and then it already started to make money. So these two examples are different. So the first one actually, they weren't yet able to make money without actually having these customer calls. But with this second one, they were able to actually this is already an MVP, because people are able to get the service by just following these steps. So in this talk and in these exercises, I'm going to teach you the first way of doing things, because you're going to learn a lot. You're going to save time and money. But this second thing is also a great way to do it if you're able to save time and money. Like building a website in 1 hour is for free. It doesn't take a long time. So you can also consider this, but we're not going to be focusing on that. All right. So please scan this QR code. It's going to open a Google Sheets template for you guys. There are 2 templates, and we're going to run these 2 exercises together. All right, you can have them on your phone. I tried to make it as easy as possible. If you are able to, you can also open it on your laptop if you want, but phone is okay. All right. All right. I guess nobody's scanning anymore, so we can move to the next stage. So first, let's design your MVP demo. So, all right. No, okay. Did you get it? Okay. All right. So please open this template, the first one, the MVP design template. So I'm going to just give a brief explanation of how this is going to run, and I'm going to explain it from my own company's perspective. All right. So this is just a simple exercise how to design your demo. Now again, the whole point of this is to use this demo that you would be actually getting from answering these questions, so that you could meet your potential customer and then in one-on-one discussion just demonstrate, like, this is how it's going to work. You don't need a ready product yet necessarily, but just to give them and convince them enough so that they would pay for that. All right. So first, the problem. What significant problem does your user want solved right now? So for example, for our case, the people, they are Chinese students. They want to go and study in China. The hardest part of the exam is to learn the vocabulary. So basically, we want to solve that vocabulary problem for them. The next thing is the promise. How is your solution clearly better than what they're using today? So other apps, they are much more time consuming, they are more boring, whereas our app is going to be much more fun and it's going to save a lot of study time. That's basically the promise. And to bolster that even more, we're basically saying to them, either you succeed in the exam or you get your money back. Price. What people are already paying and what is your price. So here you want to understand and you want to make sure that the target group that you're aiming for, they are actually paying already for that problem to be solved. And it's also required that they're feeling struggle even when they're paying for that problem to be solved. And how does your price compare to that? So in our case, for example, some Mandarin learning apps, you might be paying around 8 euros per month. But in our case, we might be charging them only 35 euros for a lifetime subscription. People, here you want, who really wants this solved and is trying to fix it already? So here you want to know some specific characteristics such as age, geolocation, and what is that specific thing that they're trying to solve. So for example, in our case, students between the ages of 25 to 35 and above who are on a specific HSK level and they are located in China. And finally, the packaging. How can you deliver a demo version fast to test it if they want it? So in our case, we would just build a design in Figma and then just create some easy interactions and then just show this is how it works. It only takes maybe 2 work days to do. All right. Now, I'm going to give you 10 minutes time to work on this on your own. And then this final section is that when you've answered all of those questions, you can use this ChatGPT prompt if you want to enhance it. So basically just copy the ChatGPT prompt after you've answered all of those questions and then just add them here. And then you should be good to go. All right, so 10 minutes. All right. Let's see here, I'll go a little bit backwards. So again, the Mafia offer template. So the Mafia offer, as you see here, it's this is a discussion that you're going to have one-on-one with the target customer, and it's good to have the entire script done so that you can basically, well, I've had this in Zoom calls, in Google Meets, so it's quite easy to have it side by side. But when you do this right, you are able to, with a very high certainty, to close sales, like right on the spot. In the best case scenarios, what me and my team have done, we've gotten some people who've been interested, sign up for the wait list, and the first time we've ever met them, they've bought it. So it's really good when you do it correct, to the right people. All right, so I've done this script here. All of these bold places here are basically what you are just going to fill in. So this is just to help you to get going. I'm just going to read this from the point of view from our company so that you get an understanding again. And then I'll give you again 10 minutes. You can work on it and then let's listen to some Mafia offers here. All right? All right. So let's make that a little bit larger. So, hello Steve, how are you doing? My name is Felix and this is my colleague Mike. As a side comment here, it's very good practice to have a friend or a colleague actually with you so that then you can discuss how the offer went afterwards. Thanks for taking time to talk to us today about preparing for an HSK exam and our product Vividize. Let me start with a quick background story. In 2022, I failed to pass the HSK exam. I wanted to go to China and to study, but the main challenge was to pass HSK, and it was really hard to learn the vocabulary which stood in the way. Flashcard apps didn't help, so I decided to try something different. This led to the idea for Vividize, a new way to solve HSK vocabulary learning. We found out this approach that to help in saving time and making Mandarin vocabulary learning more pleasant. In conversations with HSK students, we've heard about this challenge of learning thousands of Mandarin words for the exam. That's where Vividize could really help. Before we dive in deeper, I'd like to ask a few questions to better understand your background and see if this is relevant for you. Would that be okay? Then it's okay. The question, for example, question number 1 is that, are you currently preparing for an HSK exam? Are you living in China? Have you paid for Mandarin learning apps before? And then if all of these boxes check, then we can continue. I've never actually ever rejected any interviewee because I've taken it as an opportunity to learn, but if you have like many interviewees coming in, you can be more picky. But the most important thing is to understand, do these people who pay, do they belong to the same population, right? Okay, thank you. Now let me tell you more in detail about what we do. We started building Vividize after talking to dozens of people like you about taking the HSK exam. We noticed that many of these HSK exam takers have a hard time learning the vocabulary. This matters because that's the ticket for them to get to China to study or to work. Some people are adapting and winning. For example, they create their own stories to learn the content, learn the vocabulary fast, but others are stuck and falling behind. They use the other apps and they don't pass. Here's the real problem. The usual vocabulary learning apps, they don't work because they are based on repetition and they are boring. So they just simply don't work. Why not? They are based on repetition. Passive learning doesn't really help to actually memorize the vocabulary with a high certainty, and it makes the whole process very dull. We kept hearing this again and again, which told us something has to change. Let me quickly show you how to solve these problems with Vividize. We show them how we decompose the characters. With the help of AI, we can create very vivid stories. And then with help of gamification, this whole process becomes very fun. And then there is spaced repetition to retain the memory. So that's how we help HSK test takers. How does this sound to you? And then we look at their, how are they reacting bodily? Are they very interested? Are they clearly excited? Do they really want to have this? And if there's like a clear, strong interest, then you can make the offer. We're inviting just a small group of early users to try this and shape it with us. And you seem like a perfect fit. Most HSK test takers today spend around 100 euros in total on HSK learning apps, and they get so-so results. But with Vividize, you could save study time and retain the vocabulary faster and pass the HSK with a higher certainty. So compared to the 100 euros, we priced it only at based on your vocabulary. So it can range from 20 euros to 20, 40, 60, depending and upwards, depending on which level you're taking. This is an offer we make only for our early adapters. Would you be interested to join right now? And then you can also offer some guarantees. So for example, you can make a 30-day money-back guarantee, or really make it really strong, such as, because the main thing is that they want to pass the exam. So you can say something like, if you don't pass the exam, you get your money back. Like that would be something that really de-risks this whole thing. So they are like, you want to make them feel stupid not to say yes. That's it. So if they say yes, then proceed to payment right away, like for example with Stripe or with something else. But if they say no, then try to really understand what is the root cause of them saying no. Is it that the product isn't right? Do they not belong to the right group? Is there some type of a problem that you're not solving yet? So try to really understand. And that's it. That's really all there's to it. So now, again, after you've answered all of those questions, you can again copy this ChatGPT prompt, and then you can enhance your answers. Okay, this might take a little bit longer than 10 minutes, but it doesn't need to be perfect. Let's spend another 10 minutes and then listen to some Muffy offers, shall we, soon? All right. Okay, so suppose that you've already now like done all of this. You have the demo, you have the Mafia offer script ready. So what's next? So this is in the book, the Running Lean book that I've been talking about. This is basically how a startup's initial life cycle looks like if you do everything correct. So in the x-axis you have months, in y-axis you have customers, and then you just go chronologically from there. So where we are, very roughly speaking right now, is here. So you want to find the problem and the solution fit, and that's how you would then make actual money. So that's what it means. And if you get it right, then the MVP launch comes right after that. All right. But for me, like one of the things that I was really struggling to understand is this whole thing, like this thing. I didn't know where we were. Like I didn't know when I just had this idea, should I start building the app right now? Should I start forming a team? Should I start raise funding? Like what should I do? And that was the hard part. There was no roadmap. Many of the startup books that I read or the blog posts that I read about were just some fragments of what you should be doing in different phases. The build, measure, cycle, build, measure, learn loop and all of that. But this can be your roadmap. This is one strategy how to do it. And if you really want to understand it clearly, then I highly recommend reading this book because it can save your time and money. I would have definitely benefited from it. Okay, so my recommendations: build a demo, run 10 Muffy offers with your customer group, and then if it doesn't work, then iterate, run it again. And when you're able to convert, let's say, at least 6 out of 10 people, then you can move on to the next stage, start thinking about it. If you want to be in touch with me, this is my email. I'm very glad to help eager entrepreneurs to go forward whenever I have the time, but there's always time for people and things that you love. I hope that you found this helpful.
Can we ask a question?
Yes, definitely.
What do you mean by build the demo, like build the idea?
Build the demo of your MVP. Yes, that's what I mean. But if you can already build and launch a website fast and start gaining traction, then why not do that? Okay, but that's everything I had to say. Do you guys have any other questions? Well, thanks everyone, it was a pleasure. You were an active group, so good luck. Thank you.